Hi, my name is Jeremy, and as of April 2020, I am a marathoner. I think I always wanted to challenge myself and discover what challenge I could accomplish or not, and I always thought that marathons were virtually impossible to do. You see, no one in my family had ever run a marathon before. I didn't know anyone who had run before. The only people I knew had done marathon were people on TV or in the books. It seemed kind of elite, and I didn't realize that people around me were actually able to run a marathon or had run marathon. I think I just never clicked to this idea. But at some point, I started to realize this fact, and that's when I decided to challenge myself and try to do this thing that I thought was absolutely impossible a few years prior to make it a reality. On some level, I think I never actually believed that I was able to run 42.2 kilometers or 26.2 miles up until I actually saw it on my watch and stopped it and realized, oh, damn, I just did it. It's funny because you always think that the hardest part is going to be running the actual marathon, but during the 16 weeks where I prepared for this, I realized that the training is the hard part. Training in the rain, training in the snow, training when it's 6 a.m. before a very long day, or even worse, training after a very long day at the office. All those miles, all those repetitions, this constant effort that never ends. Preparation is key, and after 4 months of ups and downs preparing for this race, it all comes down to this very moment. Woo! The story of my first marathon actually started in June 2019, where I decided to challenge myself, and although I had never run more than half a marathon at a time, I am someone who needs to see the goalpost, like see the challenge ahead of me to be able to start tackling it, so to say. So I decided to register to a marathon, and then I'll just have to go with it and train for it. As you might heard from the accent, I'm French, I've lived in Paris, and I've always wanted to run the Paris Marathon. That's why I decided to register for this one. That was in June 2019. On the 1st of January 2020, I started my marathon. It was meant to be a 14 weeks marathon preparation towards Paris Marathon. But since you've heard that this was 2020, I'm guessing you know where this is going. After weeks and weeks, miles and miles of preparation, 3 weeks before flying to Paris, we learned that the marathon was cancelled. It felt like I wasn't rewarded from all the effort I was putting in. And I did feel like somehow I had failed in this mission, although I had done all the runs that I wanted to do and I had prepared as I wanted to do. I did feel like this was gonna end up being a failure after all, and that was a very unpleasant feeling, I must say. The Brighton Marathon was 2 weeks after Paris, and they were inviting people who were living in the UK but registered for either Rome or Paris to enter the Brighton Marathon. So I decided to extend my training for 2 more weeks and get ready for the Brighton Marathon. But again, that was only the beginning of 2020, and we all know how it went. 2 weeks after registering to Brighton, it got cancelled again. 2 weeks before I would have run it. So I decided that no matter what, I was gonna run those 26.2 miles. I didn't care if it had to be on a parking lot in front of my apartment. I was gonna become a marathoner no matter what. So I created a route in my neighborhood in Banbury, the city I'm living in at the moment, and I just decided to go for it. The experience was incredible. I was passing 3 times in front of a friend's house. Margot had organized this as a surprise, but they actually went out to cheer me on and give me some water and some encouragement. They made all sort of signs, etc. That was an incredible gesture, and I really felt so much better seeing that they were here to help me when there was actually no one in the streets. I mean, I think the world was still shut down at the time. I felt like I really had this privilege of being able to be out and realize this lifelong dream of mine. After all the ups and downs of this preparation, I felt very fortunate to be able to express myself with my feet at this very moment. I finished the last 10K with Margot, and when I actually pressed stop on my watch, it's hard to say because it felt a bit normal, so to say, because I was running in my normal environment. I had run in those streets for 4 months of preparation, 64 runs in total of preparation before the day, a total of around 900 kilometers of preparation, 550 miles, all of that so I could stop my watch on this day and see 42.2 kilometers. That was an incredible feeling, and I think I'll remember it for the rest of my life. That is the day I became a marathoner. I'm not gonna lie, becoming a marathoner is hard. It's a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of pain, and most of all, it's 100% worth it. If you have this inner voice that tells you that this is what you should do and this is how you could challenge your body and your mind, then by all means do it. It's an incredible experience, and most of all, it's an incredible story to tell, and something that you will be able to tell to your children, grandchildren, or friends, family. It's gonna become part of your identity somehow. So I really strongly encourage you to go ahead and do it. Have this first marathon experience experience that will stay with you for the rest of your life. But you might be wondering why I titled this video my first and last marathon experience. You see, for my first marathon preparation, that's when I actually started on this content creation journey, because I was learning so much about running and I was feeling all those greatness and all this very positive feelings at this time. Then I wanted to start sharing it. That's when I started on content creation with this name called the Marathon Experience, because that was I was going through, and it sort of felt like the right name at the time. And the reason why the second part of the title is my last marathon experience is because this is the last video of the marathon experience. You see, I've decided to actually rename the channel with my personal name. So the channel will now be named Jeremy Bernard, which is probably going to be fun because I can't even pronounce my last name in English. Bernard, I don't know, it feels like my mouth is full of something, but I guess Jeremy will do just fine. The reason for that is that I want to expand the content and I want to challenge myself in a lot of different ways. I want to go run ultras, probably triathlon, maybe Ironman one day. I want to keep on doing run streaks as well as multi-day events. I'm even going to talk about my hikes sometime. And for all those challenges, I felt like the name, the Marathon Experience, wasn't really a good representation from all the variety of the videos that I want to put on this channel. And therefore I decided that Jeremy Bernard will probably be a lot easier for me. It's going to be videos about me doing all those stuff. So if you recognize yourself into any activities and challenges that I could put on this video and you like the content, feel free to give it a like, subscribe, maybe comment on this video also if you have done your first marathon experience and if you have a cool story to share about this. Meanwhile, thank you very much for watching, and until next time.